One of the kind of cooler additions to the Hunter Classic in the last 6 months or so is the prevalence of community-wide events, and there's another one going on right now for National Archery Day. So we have a couple of mission objectives left. We did a number of them on stream last Wednesday, but there's some really good rewards, and also, alongside those missions, there's a community event to get like 75,000 feral hogs, and if you get 25 as an individual, you qualify for the reward. So if we can get these missions done quickly, we'll also do a little bit of hog hunting at the end. And we begin our quest here on Hirschfelden, looking for a wild boar that weighs over 150 kilo, and it just so happens that this boar has a minimum weight estimate of 150, so we know he'll make it. The one beside him has a max weight estimate of 150, so we do need to try to get him into range and hopefully get into a position where we can make the shot with the snakebite. The missions do require bow kills. It could be bow or crossbow. I grabbed the snakebite because of its silence, but probably seeing what we have now, the crossbow would have been a little easier to make this happen. I think we're going to be okay. This guy's getting pretty close, so we'll probably take the shot around 30 meters, even if it's a poor hit. It will be enough to bring him down, but let's go for this before they end up just spooking. And a frontal angle probably helps us. I don't know if that was a brain shot or what, but this dude is going aggressive, so let's get him taken out as well. That was a weird, interaction with the one in the back. He kind of just stood there for a moment, maybe because we did multiplayer. But if you recall, the last event, I think for Easter, we needed a 180 kilo wild boar, and that took like 2 hours. We are 15 minutes into this, so that gives us a lot of extra time to hunt for feral hogs at the end, but we do have one really tough objective coming up in trying to take a fleeing female coyote with a bow. That's going to be tough, but there's our 150 kilo wild boar, and plenty of time to head to loggers and get that coyote taken out. I would just like to point out I have not done any calling, and this feral hog is, well, now it's just trotting into a rock, but it was trotting right to us. That should be a fairly free kill. Did we get a lung shot there? We did. For a moment there that looked a little bit less than perfect, but that's going to bring that down. And I do think the coyote is going to be difficult. We attempted it on stream. We've really only got one solid try at it. And to be honest, we weren't that close to hitting it. So I think it could take a lot of attempts. But while we're here, I mentioned we need 25 feral hogs to qualify for the community rewards. I think counting this one, we're at 10. So there's a ways to go. And that gives us a lot extra to do here on Loggers Point. And it's a good thing we have feral hogs to hunt for as well, because there's been no sign of any coyotes. But if we can pull off what we did with the wild boar, we might be able to get a couple of these. There's a few just below the hill, and we know how silent the snakebite is. That's a brain shot, and the others are still coming in. I did grab the 9.3 because it's a very fast second shot, but I don't know if that's what we want here. I can't imagine we're going to be able to get away with it if they stay side by side. Maybe that's the move, or maybe we take one with the bow and then swap to the 9.3 for 2 shots at it. I mean, maybe this works with just the bow anyway. This one's gotten way out ahead. I think it's going to stop right there, so probably a little over 20. Must have hit just a little too high, so can we, before this gets over the hill, that's going to be a kill shot, I think. Not the greatest of hits, but probably enough to bring it down. So we should have just gotten now 4 feral hogs from Loggers Point. That's going to help a lot. We're going to be just like 10 away. As for the male, we did brain shot that as well as hit the left lung. 713 score for that. I would like to think we still should have got a lung there, and we did. So let's check the blood with a 9.3, because if it's 2 intestine hits, let's say, it could still end up going down more quickly than the lung shot one with the bow. That appears to be, that is intestine blood, so that's a good sign. Gonna be tough to tell unless we can find exactly where we hit it, but I think both are going to be within maybe 300 meters here. This one went literally nowhere after it got out of sight. Another 5 meters and dropped. So good deal. 1 to track from the bow, 4-second wound time with that. And we'll be up to, what would it be now? 14 hogs, I think. And definitely not a bad deal being able to get this many just while hunting for coyotes. And we'll continue down through here. By the way, I did fill this hog feeder just prior to recording, and it's going to take 4 hours to actually be active, so we can't hunt it now, but later on, we'll be able to go there and hopefully get 3 or 4 hogs. It's not been attracting nearly what it used to. Say like in 2016, 2017, there'd be 20 hogs there, but even still, If we can do that 2 or 3 times the pace we're going now, that's all we'll need. And yet again, we have this opportunity where the male hog is out ahead of a couple of females. They're way back in there, so if we can make a good shot with a snake bite, we might be able to pull off the exact same thing. But in this case, the angle's not that good, and double lung will not drop a feral hog, so either we gotta hard shot this thing or get him to turn and face us and shoot him in the brain. He's gonna stop there. I thought he might see us. That's gonna be a little bit too high, so unfortunately that's gonna send the other ones running, and it's gonna be a lengthy track job. But considering we haven't found a coyote yet, maybe one will just call while we're on our way following him. At some point here, we're bound to find a coyote, but at least we're able to continue taking down feral hogs. We actually could see this guy. We sat in that tower a little while and could see where he went to. So just giving him some time, he expired here actually only after 13 minutes, which is not as bad as I thought. But a 678, he is a piebald, but piebalds are no longer rare, so just a nice little uncommon feral hog there. And man, hopefully the next thing is a coyote, because we're getting into the area we should be seeing him. So finally, we're gonna get an opportunity at this. It's taken a long time just to find a female coyote, but as long as we can get her to come in first, which it looks like that's what's gonna happen, we should be in an okay situation. The plan is to just let it trot as close as it'll get. When it's maybe 15 meters out or so, we'll stand up with the snake bite and get ready, hopefully get drawn back, and hopefully within 5-10 meters of where it takes off, we can get a shot in quickly before it gets too far away. So she should be appearing right at the top of this hill any moment. That's going to be her right there. So if we can get drawn back before she flees, I think that's ideal. Now, what I think is going to happen is she'll stand still for a second. Longer than I kind of thought, but... Oh, did we hit that? I guess not, because I don't see an arrow in her. That was a little bit of a weird spot. I think we should have set up where it was more flat, like maybe just over to our right, about 50 meters there. Because that would have been a little bit of an easier shot. When she dipped down into there, it was really tough to gauge it, but I knew this was going to be a tough mission, and over the weekend, I spent a little bit of time trying to do it with the crossbow, and literally my first attempt with that was pretty darn interesting. So the way we tried it on stream was let the coyote get as close as it would, and then crouch up and try to get it when it flees. That's not good. We better just kind of get ready. That is not gonna help. Oh, no way. That was like 65 meters away. There's no way we hit that. That's unreal. I can't wait to see where we hit this thing, because it doesn't look like it's by much. Left hind leg at 58 meters. Let's go into trophy shot mode here, because I mean, it looks like we basically gave the thing a paper cut. I mean, look at this. Most of the bolt is visible. We just barely got his leg, but that's enough to get it done, and that's all we needed, so we'll take it. So realistically, what I was trying to do here in hitting that coyote with the snake bite was maybe show another way to do it. Unfortunately, didn't hit it, but we do have that objective done, and that leaves us with 1 to go for the National Archery Day missions, and that is just to get an unspooked brown bear with a bow or crossbow. So we're going to head off to Valdebois and try to knock that out. Now, the real challenge with the brown bear is going to be getting to the appropriate range, because I believe much like bison, if you were to use, say, the reverse draw crossbow and go for like a 70-meter shot, they'd actually hear that and start to flee before the bolt impacts them, and then at that point, you're not completing the objective even if you do hit them. So what we're doing instead is going with the snake bite. We know it's basically silent, and if we can get to 40 meters, I think we can make that shot and probably even get into the vitals. But this female is just kind of wandering around out in the river, which might make it tough to get as close as we want, but if she keeps on going that way, I think we can pull this off pretty easily. I'm going to say this is as good as this is going to get, so 44 meters, and actually getting even a little bit closer. I don't want her to go alert, because I even think that could mess us up. This is such a weird way to shoot, but that looked like it dropped right into the chest cavity. We even could just shoot it again, but I think if we did that, then it's going to be considered spooked. I don't know that she's going to make it far at all. That shot looks pretty good, unless it's somehow above the lungs. Either way, it's going to bring her down. Just a matter of how long we got to wait to basically get the entire mission pack done. And unfortunately, bear hitboxes strike again. That was an intestine shot. Despite hitting like literally right behind the shoulder, she's still right up in there though. So what we'll do is keep an eye on where she goes to. And if we have to, we'll just go sit in this tree stand so that we have zero chance of spooking her, because it shouldn't be more than 10 minutes and she should go down. And it almost had to have been a liver shot, which I've almost never made on bears. That just doesn't seem to happen much, because she went down really fast. That was intestine stomach actually, so kind of similar in wound time typically with most species. I really can't think of a time I've ever shot the liver on a bear, but anyway, that will complete the National Archery Day event, and I'm really hoping they do more of those in the future. That was actually a lot of fun, but as mentioned, there are still like 10 or so feral hogs to shoot. I did get a couple more while chasing coyotes, by the way, so it might be less than that, but when the feeder is filled, which is going to be a little bit longer still, we'll go out there with like the 45-70 or some kind of powerful repeating rifle and get as many as we can. So I spent a little time in the lead up to our feeder becoming active, just hunting hogs and getting to the point that now we only need 4 more to reach 25 and be eligible for the community rewards. Now, it appears as though we've finally got a 4th hog coming into this feeder, and we've got the engraved 45-70. I think it fits nice with the new engraved scope, and we'll see if we can somehow get all 4. I think it's going to be tough, but depending on the direction they run in, we may be able to pull it off. So that's going to be 1. Definitely not preferable the way that went down. Got 2 down. I think we hit that, but we probably better go for another shot. That's 3. Where did the 4th one go? It's probably behind the brush. That's it there. Felt like we could have hit it. That was our last round loaded anyway. Even if we didn't get that one, we'll be able to fairly quickly find 1 more and get to that 25. Probably could have been a little bit better, but I'll take 3 from that spot, especially when that first one didn't run where we had hoped. But then we've got the, I think, 2nd one that we ended up shooting, the female, which was somehow a lung shot and spine 3 at that angle. That's why we go with weapons like the 45-70 in these situations. They are just so insanely powerful. Even at that basically directly away angle, maybe a really hard quartering away angle, it still punches through and gets the vitals. This was the first one that we shot. That was a probably average size male. Lung, liver, and stomach in that case. And there should have been that other one that we dropped here, I think. That one we hit twice. The kind of orange belted one. And really the first shot was what did it. It was the intestine shot. The second shot didn't do much. So maybe we could have done better if we just left it and got on the other one sooner. We'll check for blood. I don't know if we hit that or not. If we did, it probably would go down. But like I said, either way, won't be hard to get 1 more. And we did hit it. It's gonna be body blood. I thought we'd probably punch through the intestines the way we had that angle for the shot, but I don't know, it's such a powerful weapon, it might still get it. And indeed it did. We got all 4 feral hogs that we need from the feeder there with the 45-70. So pretty cool rewards coming with this event. The mission, I think, rewarded like 3,000 GM, which we are in need of after the Funky Turkey event. I bought so many camping supplies because I was constantly like at the Golden Tree Stand, all these different spots, trying to get a 60 plus of all the different variations. Those will come in handy. Also with that was a trapper tent, which happens to be my favorite kind of tent, not as though that matters. A spawn point that we can place anywhere is fantastic. And now that we've qualified for the community rewards, we'll be able to get our hands on a tree stand, and depending on if the 75,000 quota is reached, 250 EM. There will be a number of EM depending on how many hogs the community gets, but either way, just really cool, a really fun event. That coyote one, that's one of my favorite shots we've ever made, and we don't go for something like that just for fun. It's because the mission existed, and as I said at the beginning of the hunt, it's been a really cool thing as they've added these events and just given the reason for the community to go out and do these things. It's been really fun, and I hope they do more of it as the year goes on. But that is, on that note, going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.